Hey, yo, Reaper, those kids out there seem mad thirsty. You got something for them to drink?
Yo, we could wet up 2 cups of blood.
I love that theme song.
Oh,
it's really good. It's really good.
It's kind of silly.
Oh no, it's great. It's great. Hey, welcome back to 2 Cups of Blood.
Yeah.
I'm Mechno, and DJ and weirdo, technical type dude sometimes.
AKA Paul.
Yeah.
AKA the Godfather.
Don't do that.
Why not?
I don't do that. It's weird. I've always felt weird about it because whatever. I'm just a humble dude who does things sometimes.
Yeah.
Mostly and very rarely actually. I'm like a shut-in usually.
Well,
but yeah, anyhow.
A lot of people don't do cool shit like the way you do it. So
hey,
you know,
easy.
Just saying.
I have no idea what I'm talking about. It's fucking hot, dude.
It's the heat wave. We'll get to that though.
Yeah.
So I'm Matt, DJ Veloset.
Why don't you tell them what your name is?
Velocinate.
There you go. Having a sip already. Oh, might as well. Where are 2 cups? So
yes. I don't know if the drink was chosen for this particular atmospheric anomaly.
well, it does seem refreshing. It seems like a nice dark and stormy on an oppressively hot summer morning, afternoon. Well, morning to us. Morning is a state of mind.
I got up like a while ago, dude.
Yeah, I've been.
It's afternoon, bro.
It is, but I stayed up till 2, churning photographs. So like I took. Oh jeez. It was really 4,000 photographs at the last Exhumanity, and then I pared it down to the best 600.
These are real numbers. Like you don't
No,
mean
this is real. This
you
is
mean
not exact.
4,000.
I mean, it was like 3,900 something.
Jesus.
And then, well, because I tend to, when you are shooting in the dark, okay, photography amateur pro tip, if you're shooting in the dark, take a lot of pictures because most of them are not going to be what you want them to be. That's what I say. So yeah, like up until 2 o'clock in the morning doing that, and then I got up at 9 and started again, and I finally finished. So, woo! So yeah, that's why it feels a little morning. I just got out of the house. It's cool.
Well, it's how it is. I might leave the house later, but generally that's not a thing I enjoy doing.
Well, we'll definitely be leaving the house later, right? We'll be going to
Doomsday Virus
the Doomsday Virus show.
Yeah,
exciting.
Yeah. I really hope I'll be feeling into it once the heat kind of dies down.
Well, they're playing at a nice venue that is well air conditioned, so I think that should be at least part of a positive draw for it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, this is actually our 16th episode. It's July 20th, 2019, and the heat index in upstate New York, central New York, where the fuck are we? The capital region.
Yeah.
Is kind of crazy. I've paid no attention to what it's like anywhere else, but I think it's kind of a East Coast thing, right?
I watched I watched like a heat map, and when it gets like white is comfortable, and as it gets like orange into red, it's hot, and then if it gets into black again, like if the red crisps up looking, it's like really dangerously hot. And like looking at the time lapse of the heat map for New York, we're right where like this pulsing black horror is of heat. So it's like, what is it? They said feels like 115.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Whatever.
Yeah, I can deal with the heat, I think, better than the cold. I'm not one of those people that has a real hard time with the heat, but I'm playing it smart, staying indoors today,
Yeah.
Dark house, a little cooler.
There you go. Always dark house.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Nice.
sure.
Good move.
But to help with our refreshment today, we have a Dark and Stormy, which for the people who don't have a reference to that drink, just tell them a little bit about it.
Okay, a basic dark and Stormy is made of either a non-alcoholic or alcoholic ginger beer, which ginger beer is not that different from ginger ale. It's just a bit more spicy, ginger spice, with lime and a dark rum. So a simple cocktail, but when it's hot, the citrus of the lime really, I don't know, I find it very refreshing with the ginger. Yeah?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of doing it. We did use different ginger beers for this one.
Yes.
But we are both using Kraken dark rum for this.
Yeah, part of the appeal to this drink is that we have both Kraken dark rum to test, and then after we take our mid-session break, we'll come back with the Captain Morgan black, which anecdotally I've heard is much better, and I've had it, and it's really good, but it'll be good to have like a nice compare and contrast, which in a mixed drink, does it make a difference? Captain's a little bit more expensive, I think, like $10 more for like a 1.75.
Which is really nothing that's going to break the bank, you know.
It's not prohibitive. Prohibitive? Yeah. It's not the worst.
No, it's I think it's a worthy upgrade if you're drinking the rum and something you can really taste it in.
Yeah.
So the debate today is really, is it going to make a difference in this kind of a drink?
We'll see.
So, I mean, right now,
this is
like you're using a diet ginger beer because you're back on the keto kick, right?
Yeah. So, and generally, I know that Kraken, for sure, Kraken is keto. Kraken is keto friendly. The Captain, I'm not 100% positive, but I'm leaning towards guessing that it is, though it might be a little bit sweeter. It'll be fine. But what were we saying? What was that?
The diet. You're using the diet ginger beer. So, how's the taste? Can you taste the alcohol?
Oh, so yeah, I say it's refreshing, you know, and I did a taste test of it before I added the alcohol just for like a personal comparison, and I say not so much. I mean, it's more like it tastes different than straight ginger beer does, but it doesn't have like that, like you just took, like there's poison in your beverage. It doesn't have that like burn or weird like twitch reflex that a strong drink will give you. This is a really approachable, nice drink. Right,
and we did this one, I don't know the right word, in an adult, you know, a grown-up manner. It's a tall glass with just one shot of the alcohol, and the rest is really the ginger beer and the ice. Yeah. So it's a sort of conservatively, like if you're just pouring at a party and not measuring, you know, you might have different results, but this is responsibly made, and with my ginger beer especially, has a very strong flavor, and I can't really taste the alcohol at all. So
yeah. I think this is just personal preference. I tend to use actual lime in it rather than the squeeze bottle lime, because depending on what, you know, how your mouth is working that day, the oils that are in the lime skin, is that peel? Whatever. Yeah, the lime outer casing will contribute a little bit of bitterness and like a little extra nuance to the drink. Honestly, I can't taste it myself right now, but I taste general liminess, which is good.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's what we're rocking. And is there anything less goth than a heat wave? Is that like...
It's tough. It's a tough day to dress in black.
Is there a worse environment to be in?
Well, I guess technically, it's a great day to be in a cave. So maybe that's good.
Good point.
If anyone wants to die of heat stroke today, I suggest going to the Albany Indoor Rock Gym and doing their caving experience, because on a regular day, that'll be like 115. You could like
It's like an oven in there.
You could cook a rotisserie chicken.
Ugh.
Or tofurkey, as the case may be. Well, actually, this is so we generally talk about gothy stuff and gothy people's perspective on general stuff. And this is really neither, but I will say, I have to comment that I've been really, really loving the Beyond Meat selection. Have you had... Now in the grocery store, I can get ground Beyond Meat and Beyond sausages and preformed Beyond burgers, and they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal. They're keto, and I feel really like I could just be vegetarian now because I do like butter and I do like eggs. So I can't say I'm going vegan, though nothing against veganism. I think it's great if it works for you. But like I could go vegetarian now because I really don't need, I mean, seriously, chicken almost doesn't even have a flavor. It's like just mushrooms mushrooms and cauliflower do the same things chicken do, which is chicken does, right? Man, already keto. Yeah, that's right. Keto with the alcohol tolerance. All right.
Nice.
So like it just soaks up the flavor of whatever you cook it in, and like if you ever just have like a steamed chicken breast or something, it's like eating styrofoam. But I'm kind of down with that myself anyhow.
Well, I haven't had meat in a long time, so I won't comment on that, but I think there's a lot of people out there shaking their heads going, mushrooms and cauliflower do not taste like chicken, bro.
Well, if you made like a good buffalo wing substitute, or like buffalo tots or whatever, is just to like coat some cauliflower in. It's cooked. You don't think so?
I ordered some cauliflower wings because I thought they sounded interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the downfall was there was no processing of the cauliflower. It was just chopped cauliflower fried with some wing stuff on it. And it was...
Oh, yeah.
It got really old after the first 3 pieces. It was just greasy and fucking... No.
Not having it?
No.
Well, I don't know. I think it's tough because so much of the keto way is learning to accept and really celebrate the things you can eat, and generally speaking, the fiber versus carbohydrate balance of cauliflower makes it like it's awesome as rice. It's like really versatile for a ton of different applications. So I can eat it, so I love that shit.
I feel like it's more successful as a side item, like a mashed potato substitute or something like that.
The side dish, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, back to your point. Beyond Meat, very good stuff. Love the burgers. I did not know that stuff was keto. That's really interesting. Yeah,
it's like if I ate an entire pound of it, it was 4 carbs.
Wow.
So like that's pretty awesome, and I think it goes to their design methodology when trying to make it is like combining things with an eye on what are the constituent components of meat and what are the vegetable-based analogs to that, and when you combine them, if meat is carb-free, and when they approximate it, it's also really low carb. So it's really good stuff. I'm really I'm thinking about giving vegetarian a go now because I can eat those Beyond sausages nonstop all the time.
I haven't had the sausages yet.
It's dope.
Okay.
They're good.
The burgers are awesome. The crumbles are a little, I don't know, they're like, they have so much seasoning on them already. Like, I can use them in some applications, but not others.
Now, is the crumble different from, like, the packaged 1 pound of ground something? Oh,
that's what I'm talking about, I think.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't that have, like, a seasoning on it? Like, baked in already?
I've only cooked it once, so I'm having a hard time really judging, but...
okay.
It's like good.
Different than, like, the Morningstar's, like, grillers crumble. This is turning into a vegetarian podcast. Sorry.
Well, I think actually, if you look at community demographics, I think there's a pretty high vegetarian and veganist constituency in Goth Industrial.
I think that goes with the non-conformist freethinker sort of aspect of...
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Yeah. So anyhow, sorry for that that departure.
That's fine. Let's...
Are you erasing the past over there? What are you doing?
Oh, I made some notes for myself on my chalkboard wall, so...
Oh, okay.
I hit two things, so...
Does that say Damnation Alley?
Yes. The other thing I wanted to talk about, just briefly, was Damnation Alley. Now, Damnation Alley has a certain attraction for people in this area, who I assume are the bulk of our audience. Damnation Alley is based on a book or novella or short story, I'm not sure, that I've never read. Just watched this movie. There's a couple intriguing things about this movie. It's apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
It stars Jan Michael Vincent, who I remember very fondly from Airwolf in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It also stars George Papard, who, of course, I remember very fondly from the A-Team.
A-Team, yeah.
It also has a very young Jackie Earle Haley in it, who played Rorschach and Freddy
that
Krueger,
dude, yeah.
And, yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff. But as like a 10 or 12-year-old, like it's really trippy to see him.
So this is an older movie. This is not a new release.
This is 1977, I think. So very laughable special effects, but they use a lot of stock footage of in the beginning when they're portraying the nuclear strikes that reduces the America to a wasteland essentially. All of this sounds a lot cooler than it is. Like, I went into this film thinking, all right, it's going to be a fun, stupid old movie. It'll be a laugh. But it has this very serious tone, and they really spend a lot of time with nukes hitting America. So it gives it a lot more serious tone than I was prepared for.
Interesting.
Yeah, but the point of it is... The survivors, they come out of hiding in like a couple years when the shitstorms are over, right? And they can somewhat survive on the surface somehow if they avoid the really hot radiation zones. They hear a radio signal from Albany. So the whole...
Nice, okay. I
movie,
love where this is going, yeah.
The whole movie is them trying to get to Albany, New York. So...
That's awesome. Did they make it?
They spoiler, they do make it.
And it sucks.
They do not, all they show is this very non-specifically American street with grass and trees and like very suburban, it could be anywhere.
So wait, Loudonville survived? Is that what you're saying?
Like,
fuck.
It's not, they don't go into the city, they didn't film anything in the city. They just got to some bullshit outskirts, and that's where the movie ends, and it's very anticlimactic. The whole experience, I would say, don't bother with unless you are a big Jan Michael Vincent or Jackie Earle Haley fan.
I'm just thinking, like, Albany is not a high-ticket destination. Albany is where places film when they can't afford to film in Washington, D.C. or New York City.
Well, yeah, but, I mean...
I guess the same could be said for, Vancouver, British Columbia. That's
a big one.
That's movie LA right there.
Pretty much. No, I guess the thinking in the story was Albany is a sort of larger city that wouldn't be a Russian nuclear target, but I think they have that wrong because Schenectady definitely would have been nuked for having GE.
Well, also, as the capital, I like to take pride that is the capital of New York. And really, it's just the amount of politicians that happen to be here. This would make Albany a fantastic target, so...
I don't know if that's the point of a nuclear strike, though. They want to destroy the industry and the ability to strike back.
Maybe Albany's safe then. I don't know what they're making in Albany. So
we don't make any weapons.
Maybe it's
here.
best to keep the politicians safe so that they can argue and
fuck up the country.
Exactly. There you go.
So don't bother with Damnation Alley is the takeaway.
Okay, that's cool. That reminds me of, we're not yet spinning the wheel of topics yet, but
That's true.
When you said Damnation Alley, did you ever see that movie Wormwood? It was it's like a cross between a zombie movie and a Mad Max movie.
I don't think so.
And a comedy.
What era was this?
It's pretty recent,
okay.
last 5 years or so, and it's
No?
I think it's good. It's an Australian production, and there's a new thing coming out that I saw, Necrotechnic, I think, and it's
Sounds like your new release.
yeah, right. I'm on it. Sleeping Sickness with Necrotechnic.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we're going to be, I guess we have a new feature introducing this session for the Sweet 16 is the Wheel of Topics to help us bounce around between the things that we kind of gravitate to talking about.
Well, the point is, I would ask, if there are listeners out there, if you want to hit us up, we have 2cupspodcast@gmail.com. You can send us, feedback, suggestions, whatever topics to talk about. As we progress, we'll add more weird shit to it and hopefully make a physical wheel.
Yes.
Mechno is in charge of fabrication.
The props department. Yeah, I started making one and it was horrible.
Yeah.
It was really bad because I just had a pin through some foam board and then the axis eroded and it wouldn't spin right anymore. It was horribly depressing.
Need some washers or something in there.
Something, yeah. I'll work it out.
All right. Well, we do have a virtual wheel. There's a couple iPhone apps that are like decision maker apps that let you do that. So
Nice.
we have that primed, and we'll hit that in a minute. But let's talk about some music that's been happening. I feel like.
Oh, you're not hitting the wheel for that? Is that on the wheel?
No, I didn't even put it on there because it's.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just
it's
me.
core. Yeah, I agree with that.
This is what it's all about, man.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
I'm getting passionate. I've only had half of this drink, and I'm
gonna
passionate
drink
already.
faster. Jeez.
Well, I feel like this is like the fucking golden age, like of all this shit coming out. I can't even.
I'm kind of blown away
top.
myself. Yeah, it's like I know that I'm neglecting a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, we can only highlight certain things. And
Yep.
It's tough.
I feel even bad because one of my music topics is something that's like something new to me that is a bit older, but I'm like, well, I shouldn't be fucking around with this. This is like,
No, go ahead. You got to share it with the people.
Yeah, so why don't you?
You want me to start?
Yeah, please. Yeah,
All right.
I feel like I'm just gonna start gibbering if I start talking.
Oh, I just lost my place. Hang on a sec. Yeah, here we go. So, just a couple new things coming out. These are some Metropolis releases, I think. Nero Bellum from Cyclone 9 put out a solo release. NFRN with a degree sign after it. Not sure how to pronounce that. It's kind of, I think he calls it black industrial.
Okay.
It was recorded live. It's like modular synthesis. They're kind of longer songs. They're not super poppy or dancey. It's kind of like, I would hesitate to say experimental, because my impression was it was a little better formed than, it wasn't like super freeform stuff. It's kind of similar to the idea of Nine Inch Nails' Ghosts,
Okay.
which was just the kind of them jamming and they took out the good parts and put it out. It's that sort of idea, I think. So that's Nero Bellum, solo release, NFRN degrees.
Okay. Out of 100, what do you rate it? What do you think?
It wasn't right up my alley. It's not bad for, if you want to put it on like an ambient thing. I don't recall there being singing on it. So it's kind of an instrumental. I might have that wrong. This is a while ago I listened to this. Well,
that's interesting that you led with that, because I had like something unrelated or almost the same genre on my list, which was the new Cervello Elettronico, which is Italian industrial. And they've also gone into this like dark atmospheric. And you're right, it's not really ambient and it's not freeform, but it's like it's got this brooding thing that's not necessarily. I could see it being danced to at a club, but at the same time, it's not like people aren't going to put their drink down and run to the dance floor because this jam is on. It's not that kind of jam.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, actually, I have not been. I have nothing negative to say about them, but I will say that I hadn't really gravitated to them before, but I think this release is quite good.
Cool. Also on Metropolis, there's a new release by a band called Black Lung called The Great Manipulator. And this is, I would describe it as like a synthy, instrumental, slightly retro 80s. There's some songs that have beats going on. There's some songs that are a little more atmospheric and ambient.
Now, this is a serious question. Is Black Lung different from Black Lung Corporation?
I assume so.
Okay.
But I'm not intimately familiar.
I'm going to do a quick spot of research because maybe I can't, but we'll see. Yeah, I can't. Never mind. I'm pretty sure that Black Lung Corporation is a Snog offshoot. Would you say this does not feel like Snog at all?
I did not get that impression.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't think they were very snoggy.
Okay. Unsnog. 0% Snog.
I think so. I could be wrong. I'm not intimately familiar with Snog, but I have heard a few.
Yeah.
Also wanted to mention, this is on Negative Gain, Curse Mackey's record, Instant Exorcism, is now out. It's kind of laid back, like dark wave industrial. It's not like hard driving industrial. It's almost a synthesis of, the goth industrial aesthetic. I didn't love it. I wasn't immediately drawn in, but it very much has an aesthetic I appreciate. It's like very, if a lot of industrial is too harsh for you, if you're just getting over industrial and you want something a little more listenable, a little less harsh.
Okay.
It has that gothic sensibility. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
And of course, the new Stoneburner is out
Yeah.
on Negative Gain, and that's called Technology Implies Belligerence. And that has a slightly different feel than the other stuff, I think. It's very lyrically driven. There's words, I think, on all the songs. I think it's pretty damn good.
Nice.
Stoneburner is bringing it.
Well done, Steven.
Yeah. If anyone follows Stephen Archer, on Facebook, there's no way you've missed the news about this album.
Yeah.
He's been talking about it a lot. He's very proud of it. I think it's very personal to him. He feels very accomplished with this one. So.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, this goes back to us, like, with the previous topic of when you're trying to find new music, sometimes you'll find a record label that is just killing it for you. Like, they just have a curated stable of artists that are really churning out stuff that resonates with you. And I think Negative Gain is doing that recently. You have your old standbys, Metropolis and Cleopatra, and they all have like very kind of specific feels. Sometimes it's diverse, but it's like they know their demographic, and they're like, yes, our people will like this, that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure. And a couple other things I wanted to mention that I haven't gotten super into. These aren't like detailed or anything, just some news. There is an Alpha Matrix sale going on until the end of this month, until the end of July 2019. The code is Summer19.
Okay.
And it's 50% off on over 400 releases that they have up on Bandcamp.
Oh, that's pretty great.
I don't know if it's only It's probably only Bandcamp. So Alpha Matrix has a lot of... I think they're a Belgian label, is that right? They have a lot of electronic...
I know that they do, like, they're responsible for the sort of annual Depeche Mode cover albums.
Right, Recovered or something
yeah,
like that, yeah. They have that series. They have some artists you've heard
Matrix
of.
Downloaded and Reloaded. Reloaded? Downloaded? Yeah, something like that. Yeah, they have their, like, artist showcase ones, too.
Yeah, they have some really good stuff. So if you're into the anything on the Alpha Matrix label, now's the time to go check them out.
Strike.
Yes. And a few other things I wanted to mention. There's some new stuff that either just came out or is coming out shortly this month on Metropolis. She Passed Away, which is a Turkish sort of goth dark wave band. Their new one is out. I'm not going to be able to pronounce it. It's Disko Anksiyete. So that's not too bad. I've listened to it. It doesn't immediately grab me, but again, it's my kind of aesthetic. It's very gothy, dark wavy. You know, that's a very appropriate description, I think.
Yeah.
I think some of the lyrics are Turkish, so you're not going to be able to follow. But
well, you know, did you see that they recently played the Brooklyn Bazaar? Right.
No.
They had a sold-out show at the Brooklyn Bazaar. And the funniest thing is somebody was like, this place was miserable. It was overpacked, and this girl was giving me the stink eye because I took, quote-unquote, her spot. And I was just like, what the fuck?
That's a goth show.
That is the best concert review I've ever heard.
Nice.
That's really good.
That's the way to do it.
Brooklyn.
The new God module is out called the Unsound. I have not really pursued that one.
You know, I haven't given it a fair listen yet. I do like God module, and it's interesting because they're really nice people. Like, so do you find that as someone in, or at least tangentially, well, you actually more than me are in the industry?
Oh, I don't know if I would say that. But...
Well, you've remixed huge names like the Gothsicles.
Oh, okay. So,
you know, and you're an accomplished artist in your own right. So, yeah, I find that when a performer is personally really cool, it just colors like everything I listen to from them, and it's like, it's almost like hanging out with a friend when I listen to their stuff, because I know this person's cool, and like their personality comes through, and I'm like, oh, he did that because he's that kind of nerd. Like, I get it.
Yeah, sometimes you can get more insight into the person, or your insight into their personality informs your appreciation of the art.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty cool, yeah. I'd say that's true. I haven't personally met a lot of the artists that have come to the area for shows the way you have. So you have, like, you've talked more to the Abbey Death guys and the...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean...
Everybody.
If you just think about Carl from Angel Spit, Zug von Rock?
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Zug, yeah.
It's just like, look, man, he's tired of the bullshit and he just wants to make some fucking good music, all right? That's like his whole aura is, I just want to make some fucking good music, all right?
Cool.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Nice.
Yeah, new releases too. He just did his Refibrillator, which is defibrillator with lots of new remixes of it. And it's good.
Cool.
Good shit.
All right, I got one or two more things to mention.
Hit it.
Velvet Acid Christ, Remastered, Fun with Knives coming out.
How do you feel about that?
Fun with Knives, you know, I was already a little bit into VAC because of Futile.
Okay.
Someone had turned me on to the song Futile, and I got into Church of Acid and, you know, the first big release. Some interesting stuff there. This is, you know, way back in the day when this was fairly fresh. So I think I picked up Fun with Knives when it was released. I don't remember if I pre-ordered it or what, but, you know, I don't even know what year that was at this point.
Right, at the time, yeah.
95, 96, 97, somewhere in there. I picked that shit right up. Oh, I guess this is 20th anniversary, so it was 99.
Cool.
So Fun with Knives from 99. I know I had it. I know I had the bonus tracks on the... I don't know, they were like hidden tracks, or there was a bonus disc or a mini disc or some shit. I can't remember. Like, yeah, I was into it. I didn't love it all, but I thought, you know, the song Slut especially is still one of those jams that it still does it for me. Like, I love the textures on that, some of the beats, some of the synth sounds. It just does it for me. So yeah, remaster's coming. I don't know exactly what the remaster is gonna bring. Like, I'm really curious because I feel like, well, smaller artists, especially if they have a limited budget, like the mastering might not be as ideal as they can get it. So maybe this is one of those instances where it's really going to bring something out of it, or it's really going to fix the, change the balance of the frequencies or something. There could be a significant improvement there. So that might be really interesting to hear.
Yeah, I hope you'll revisit that release once it comes out, because I'm very curious what will change.
Yeah.
You know, the only I know Velvet Acid Christ so little. The only experience I have is that when I was DJing, you know I keep track of the number of plays things have gotten. So I'm like, when someone came up and they were like, I want to hear some like fucking banging shit. Like, I want Velvet Acid Christ. And I was like, okay, what song? And they couldn't name a song. And I was like, well, this song's pretty popular. You want this one? And you're like, yeah, that one. And she was really disappointed.
Oh.
Because she was super drunk, and I think maybe she wanted Alien Vampires, which is entirely different.
Yeah.
But...
way different.
Yeah, really couldn't be more different. But hey, you know, they have an A. There's an A in the name. But anyhow, yeah. So I'm interested in what the remaster is going to bring. I've seen Skinny Puppy remasters that have actually really substantially, like, refined.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. That'll be interesting. And on top of the remaster...
shit.
I think slightly thereafter, and I don't know, another month or two, or maybe it's a few months out, there's a new release coming from Velvet Acid Christ, whose title I don't have in front of me, but I know something new is also coming. Which brings me to, I think, my last piece of news.
Wait, you have to mention that Velvet Acid Christ is also booked for Dark Side of the Con.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you have an opportunity to talk with Brian and let him know that his remaster work has gone quite well.
Cool. Yeah, I didn't know Dark Side of he was at Dark Side of the Con 4.
Yep.
So that's cool. I guess I missed some announcements. Any other bands announced yet?
I think the
Stoneburner. No,
yes.
Eagle Lakeness. Right?
And Stoneburner.
Oh, both? Okay.
Yeah. He's there. Might as well.
Well, yeah.
Gothsicles were the first announced, I think.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's going to be great,
Okay.
I'm not sure if Abbey Death is back. I actually posted on the wall asking if we were going to get Abbey Death this time, because more than, like, what's interesting about Abbey Death is I really like their music, but they also do, like, interesting panels. Like, Valerie was doing the goth yoga seminar.
Yeah.
So, like, it's good shit.
Nice. So finally, there is a new, won't be out till the end of September, unfortunately, but there is a new KMFDM on the way called Paradise. So, 2019, I guess, is the 35th year of KMFDM releasing.
KFC, Famous Bowl, release, Paradise.
New shit coming.
Yeah. Well, that's...
I'm done trying to talk.
KMFDM is really interesting because they're they've managed to artistically grow while keeping their, like, what they are at core quite stable.
There's a consistent identity there.
Yeah, so politics aside, I don't see that in bands like, It Acts Like Combi Christ, where their growth takes them away from their core, and it's not necessarily going to be welcomed by fans of their earlier work. Like, it kind of goes from, like, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Cartesianal? Like...
Cartesian?
Well, it's just, like, one of those, like, touchstones of industrial. To, like, this strange industrial metal that I don't really have a point of reference to and don't entirely, like, attach to. But who knows? Maybe, there's been these circumstances before where I listen to something and I'm like, oh, this new release is garbage. What have they done? And then 5 years go by and then I get it. And I'm like, oh shit, they were just really ahead of, artistically, they were just way ahead of me and I didn't see where they were going, but they were just 5 years in the future. So I'm not saying that's what I feel like with Combi, but it happens. So I don't know. I guess it pays to keep an open mind when you're listening.
That's cool. I mean, I'm not familiar with them in particular, but I know they've been around and they've been changing, so... Yeah. It's
hard. I mean, maybe when I start to like metal more, like 6 years from now, I'll say, oh, this release is fucking amazing. But right now, I don't know, it's not connecting with me.
I don't have much of a metal background either.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I guess. I'm gonna, because I've been drinking, I'm gonna bring it back a second and say that, like, I used to have, like, a disdain for metal. Because in high school, there were all these kids who listened to metal, and I'm old as fuck, so this was like 100 years ago. So, like, in high school, all these kids loved metal, and they were acting like they were super hard. And I would hear their metal, and it was utter bullshit. And I was like, you compare this to Ministry, and your shit's a lullaby, son. This is nothing. Like, these guys look like clowns on stage, and Ministry will literally kill you. They will kill you and leave you bleeding.
You're talking about, like, epic metal? Like,
well, just like kind of Striper and Rat and Motley Crue, and it's just all this, like, weird, like... plasticky. It was just a bad time. Even, I'll even say it, and I'll catch hate, I'm sure. But even, like, Iron Maiden is, like, pussy shit compared to, like, Mine Is a Terrible Thing to Taste era Ministry. That shit is fucking brutal.
It's true. There's a certain level of aggression, brutality, say what you will, that...
Well, I was thinking about this. I was thinking that musically, artists will... This is maybe... I've been drinking. Second disclaimer. I'm crutching on that pretty hard.
Keto and empty stomach today?
Yeah, it's fucking me up.
Yeah, I'm feeling this one.
But I was thinking that bands will tend to write to one of the Freudian personas. They will write to the id, they will write to the ego, or they will write to the superego. So they'll write to, like, this animal, carnal perspective, or they'll write to, like, planning how things should be to make things, like, better and to just accomplish things. Or they'll write to this, like, torn perspective of, like, I want to be a good person, but I still want to kill my neighbors. Like, and I'm trying to deal with that. So just help me out, okay?
Speaking my language.
Yeah. Well, the neighbors are quiet right now. It's too hot. Hidden blessing.
Yeah.
Heat wave nullifies neighbors.
It's true.
There was some jackass mowing the lawn this morning.
Oh, in your neighborhood?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like, just some quiet guy. Come on.
Getting it done early, I guess that's smart.
Yeah, I guess. Or you don't do it.
Well,
That's what I do. I just let that shit grow. No, I got nicely slow growing grass, which is like, it doesn't look great, but it's like once a month I have to deal with something, so that's good.
Yeah.
So I'll rapid fire go through what I had. Culttastic, which you turned me on to, had they just have an interesting model where they don't have a release or they don't have an album, they have a subscription. And they are piecemeal releasing their album, which I don't know what the collection will be called. I call it First Tracks, but Culttastic First Tracks, they're pretty interesting. You know, I think Excel World is maybe like their monster, but the rest of the stuff's been pretty good. I was watching this movie with Samuel L. Jackson in it. It's like an older movie, not high budget, because I think he's not terribly discriminate. Is called Kite, and Kite, it was okay, it was fine, but really what was interesting is sometimes there'll be people involved with the movie who are quite good at what they do, even if the movie itself is not that good. And in this case, there were some interesting musical selections which turned me on to this group called the Frown, which is sort of electro-industrial witch house from South Africa. And it was pretty cool.
What's the name again?
The Frown.
Nice.
And I have it in my current playlist. There's the one track that was featured in the movie, which is really good, is called Lilith. But it's called Teenage Swim is the album that I'm currently listening to, but I think it's older. I think that's like 2005. So,
okay.
But they're pretty dope. I recommended to you the Marva von Theo album. Marva von Theo is sort of a trip-hop, it's almost like industrial with a female jazz vocal, which it's funky because normally I despise jazz, but this is pretty good stuff. Their Dream Within a Dream is the new release from them. And I'm just fucking ripping through this shit.
Whatever.
Anna Lux doesn't have a new album, but she has a new single. It's super German. Tanz durch die Nacht. Dance Through the Night, pretty much.
Okay.
And, it's quite good, and I got turned on to that. There's like one of the ways I find new music is I follow the German electronic weekly charts, GEWC. And if something's doing really well there, even if a crowd is not familiar with it in the United States, something that's like at the top of that chart usually will go over really well. So, you know, I enjoyed that. And a couple of good remixes. And then there's the hilarious Seraphim system release. What is it? The Obsidian Frontline. They tried to make it out like it was super mysterious that because they had a label change that this release was like the lost release, but I think that's kind of overdramatic. It just didn't come out on schedule because of the label shift. But what's interesting is I was mentioning to you that each of the songs is titled with one of the things that the loaders say from Borderlands 2. And I just found that so incredibly charming. It's a pretty good album. And I think, geez Louise, man. I believe that one's on Death Watch Asia. And that DWA is like one of those record labels that, like, if you're into one of their releases, you're probably going to be super down with everything that they put out. So, like, it's like you can make... I wish labels had subscriptions. You know, like, they don't always run their own record pools where you pay an annual fee and you get everything that gets released on that and they disperse it to their different artists. That would be a good model, I think, because there's a couple I really like. Death Wash Asia is really good. Three Blind Mice Productions, which is Pete Crane from Shiver's label. And, of course, Negative Gain. Tiger Squawk. Squanch?
Squawk.
Squawk.
Tiger Squatch.
So, yeah. So,
Give
boom.
us that subscription there, Brian.
Yeah, come on. Move to a subscription model or offer it. Don't move to it. Do what you're going to do, man. You're cool. You know what you're doing. Don't listen to me.
So I'm almost ready to spin the wheel of topics for the first time.
All right.
Somebody's trying to call me right now.
Who is trying to call you when you're podcasting?
It is Party Shirt, a.k.a. Kieran, singer and lead songwriter from the band Stoker.
Do you want to answer it and put him on the mic?
No.
No? Speakerphone that shit? Bring him in?
Not my style.
Okay.
But now we have the wheel available.
Oh, shit. Nice.
So, here we go. Let me turn up this volume because they do have a charming...
sound effects. Clicking?
Well, it's only turning up the ringer, not the...
Well, spin it, and then while it's spinning, turn it up, and that might give you different... It's poorly organized. Hey, Apple people, you really need to make, like, a sound mixer that lets you moderate different things' volumes, please.
It's supposed to do that automatically, but it
does it poorly.
It doesn't always
like
do
every
it,
time I'm trying to navigate, the navigation is like a whisper compared to my music, and I was like, wait, where the fuck did they say to turn? And you're just fucked.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But anyway,
do it.
Wheel o' Topics. All right, so
we won.
We've landed on the DJ topic. Now this is, I think you had something prepared.
I do, yeah.
But I'm going to ask you something.
Please do.
You told my lovely wife, DJ Tetchy, about some Traktor 3 Pro features that you were getting into.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about.
Oh,
actually.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think Traktor 3. I'm going to start by saying Traktor has one, like, stupid-ass flaw that's very annoying, which is while it's analyzing tracks, it gets really fucked up if you try to type into it. So if you try to search the collection, it's impossible while it's analyzing. It steps all over the process of text entry and won't let you do it. But other than that, they're really doing some neat stuff. So a few years ago, Mixed In Key sort of started doing this thing where they would analyze your music collection and will let you know what key each of your tracks is in to allow you to do a harmonic plan for your set so you can build energy or drop energy according to what you want to do. So Traktor has had musical notation as part of their analysis for quite a while, but they have finally just added something that's like key lock, but it allows you to shift your harmonic up and down. I don't think it'll shift from a major to a minor, because that could be weird. But
I don't think that'd be possible.
Well,
because you'd have to modulate what's in the song.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it, but I do know that you can shift up your scale. I guess they use the most easy accessible notation is the open note notation, which just uses 12 different notations with a major and a minor. And so if you're on, for instance, 6 major, you can move to 4 major, to 6 minor, 5 major, 7 major, or 6 minor. So it's like you have, like, you try to move adjacently in your mix, and it's pretty good about letting you, like, manipulate flow. But it also lets you know if you're starting one song before you're ending the other, it will let you know that these songs are going to get along really well. It's not always something you have to plan as far as your set flow, but as far as how much you're overlapping them. If you know that, like, laying one track on top of the other because they're in the same key can give you, like, a remix type effect, that's pretty dope.
That's interesting. And that's really bringing in a real musical theory element to it, whereas, before I know it told you, like, the name of the key. So this song's in A and this song's in C, and they might sound weird if you transition them, and,
right.
But whatever. But this is actually giving you, like, I like that. That's how, you identify chord moves that can be in any key. So,
Right.
Yeah, that's really, so those harmonic relationships, you don't have to, it makes it easier, essentially.
Yeah, and beyond just, so basically before you would be able to engage key lock and do via like a little fader knob, adjust your key, bringing it up or down. Now you can actually, it quantizes it so you can go up and down just by pressing one click, and it will bring it up to the next octave or down, which is pretty cool. It's pretty nice because when you're trying to do it by ear, I find that what you hear in your headphones and what is actually being heard on the floor can be kind of different sometimes, and sometimes problematic, especially, if you're doing something that's a little risky, it can be really disastrous on the dance floor, even though it's okay in your headphones. So, yeah, but they also, 3 in general has really good time compression and expansion stuff, and they just licensed a whole bunch of technology for really good pitch shifting. So you can take something and drop it to 50%, and it doesn't get that sort of grainy, like unlistenable. It's like, it sounds like the song was that speed rather than a song that is being manipulated to be that speed, it's pretty dope.
That's cool.
Well done.
I haven't experimented with any of that yet, so that's good to hear.
I was a little worried or hesitant about moving to 3 Pro, and I wish I maybe should have mentioned it earlier, but they had a thing where upgrades were 50% off, so it was only a $25 upgrade to go from 2 to 3. So, yeah, I went for it. It was good.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
has that ended, or is that still going on?
I think it's over now. I think it's
Jerk.
no longer... It was really short-lived. It was like
Oh, damn.
just a couple days. So, I still say that I think an upgrade is still $50 or so. So if you already have Traktor Pro 2, going Traktor Pro 3 is not... It's not a huge deal.
If 2 is working for you, don't sweat it.
Yeah, honestly, I think if you're really comfortable with 2, you don't really... The time algorithms used are really top-notch, and they sound great, so it would be a benefit, but if you're getting along fine, and more importantly, if your platform that you're spinning from gets along fine with 2, you might cautiously consider upgrading to 3. It turns out my 2015 MacBook gets along just peachy with 3, no issues.
That's good.
Yeah, I was a little worried, and I could be making this up entirely, but I think that Traktor Pro 3 actually uses graphics chip processing. So it's like there's not much you can do in Traktor Pro that's going to hit your CPU. It all gets handled by your graphics card, which is a smart way to do it.
Cool.
Yeah. I might be wrong or lying. I'm not sure.
Or both.
Or both, yeah.
Have any gigs coming up?
I'm entertaining, well, I don't have anything definite. I was asked to spin a fetish event in Rochester, but unfortunately it's in October and I'm part of a wedding. I'm actually officiating a wedding.
Nice.
In October that sort of has a conflict because it goes Exhumanity, the event in Rochester on Saturday, and then on Sunday, the wedding.
Wow.
So it just wasn't going to work out as like timing wise. So it looks like it's going to get pushed back into December, but yeah, I'm looking forward to going to Rochester, checking that place out.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I do. I have Catharsis 2 coming up.
Oh, awesome.
Near the end of August.
Mm-hmm.
Friday, August 23rd, I believe.
Nice.
So DJ Destroit and I will be doing our thing again.
Bringing it back. Very good.
Yeah, at the Hangar on the
Hangar
Hudson
again?
in Troy. Yep.
Yeah, it was cool. It's a neat place, and they have a very nice sound system.
Yeah.
It's not broken and garbage, I guess.
It is not.
I don't mean to. Again, I feel self-conscious. There's at the traditional ex-humanity home, it's not really broken and it's not really garbage, but it's not really consistent. So like something will be different every time, and it's a stress that you come to love to see the like what is the new permutation. But I understand the novelty of going to a venue where shit just works and it sounds good.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to mention, like, for the first time in years, I saw that they either fixed or replaced some of the lighting effects at the fuse box.
Yeah, there's new stuff.
Holy shit.
Yeah, but...
We were down to, like, 3 working lighting effects.
But they didn't label any of it, so I don't know how long it's been fixed for, because it's just on one of the switches that is unlabeled. So you turn it on and you're like, oh shit, that does something? That's awesome. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that place.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And I think that they may or may not be conducting renovations shortly. So we should see a freshening of the environment there. We'll see what they do.
It's about time. I think it's been at least 15 years or so.
Well, not exactly.
No?
Because it was mid the Exhuman first 5-year run that they put in the second stage, which I would count as a fairly substantial change to the venue.
Removing all the seating and putting in a shitty, shoddily made stage, I don't know. I guess it counts, but it's not the kind of remodeling I would hope for.
Well, I can't say that I loved the change. One thing I can say for sure that I do like is I do like that the stage was put in direct opposition of the sound booth, which I think
That's
was
smart. Yeah.
It was technically a good move rather than having the stage to the, on the left wall, diagonal from the sound booth. That move sort of made sense. Countered with moving all of the lighting controls onto the stage, so it was kind of impossible to change the lights while an act was performing.
Yeah, I think the philosophy there was, I don't know, to be honest, but I think they were expecting more of the EDM people to be on the stage so they could manipulate the stuff while they were sort of performing.
Well, I'm just thinking back historically. I think right when they did that was right around the time that there was a lighting truss that was that was supposed to be permanently installed in the fuse, that different nights could contact the owner of the truss to have active lighting for their gig. So I think maybe that was why certain lighting control was on the stage that DJs would use, but stuff that bands would use would be like, oh, well, for an extra $100, we'll bring in a lighting guy and he'll do your show. I just think that's the thinking, and now all that stuff is gone. So
yeah.
So, but hey, I think it's interesting to see how they freshen it up. But hold up, let's get back to Catharsis 2.
Oh, I don't know what else to say about it.
You're involved again? Are you going to be breaking sets up, or you think you're going to do your blocks?
I want to do the same thing. I really enjoy that. And earlier today, I was doing some research. I had this great idea, and we haven't executed on it yet.
Okay.
And I'll get back to Catharsis. But my great idea was, I think it's great.
It's great.
I don't know how it's going to turn out.
I can feel it.
But it was to revisit some of the Exhuman drink specials that we've done over the years. Now, I say we, the royal we, that is the drink specials that have happened at Exhuman.
Yes. Typically, with input from the establishment as to what they have and what they'd like to assist moving out of their collection.
Right. So each month we had 3 drink specials, I think minimum, usually 3.
Yeah, 3 is the typical, well, it's super cliche, but 3 drinks, $6 each, 666.
Oh, there you go.
That was the cliche.
Nice. So we have 6, 7, 8 years of...
Yeah, it's getting on now, so...
yeah.
There's lots of drink specials that can be probably helped out a little bit.
Right. I wanted to revisit those, look back, see what some of the good ones were, and see if we can improve upon them, present them as legitimate, recipes for people, and spruce them up a little bit. So that was the idea. We're going to hopefully start that next time.
Yeah.
And, I was just looking through the old Facebook archives on some of our earlier events, looking for drink specials, but what I found were set lists. So I was looking at some of my monster, 3-hour set lists, and man, I really miss doing that. So
yeah, you can do an incredible landscape of, it just really say something with your set, and I think I've always appreciated that about your sets. I guess historically there was it started out with the 3-hour monster sets and then broke into hour by hour changes, which it was something that that people seem to like, and I don't know, it's hard to keep people happy.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but it was fun for me.
Yeah, no, I loved them.
Yeah, it was cool. So maybe 3 hours is a bit much, but at Catharsis we do 2 hours. So I'm gonna, I think, still do the first. I'm comfortable doing the first two, kind of warming up.
Yeah.
And then Destroy will take the back two and really kill it. So
fantastic.
I'm looking forward to that. An hour is kind of good. It's enough to get somewhere. From where you started, you can do something. But I think 2 hours is really where it starts to be more of a statement. More you can just do more with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's fun for me to do those longer sets.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Very cool.
Got some ideas in my head.
What is that? August? Am I getting the date right? August 23rd?
I believe so. Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Fantastic.
Looking forward to it.
I think before we spin the wheel again,
yes.
I feel like my bladder is just kicked. It's ready to release. Release it. No, you?
And with that hate department reference, we'll take a quick break.
Yeah.
Yo, chumps, this is DJ Recluse, and you're 1 cup into 2 cups of blood.
So here we go again.
All right.
So, you ready for another spin of this fucking wheel?
Round 2 with the wheel. But wait.
Oh, yes.
Wait.
I'm sorry.
Hold up.
Getting ahead of myself.
We have the whole point of us getting together is these drinks.
Yes. So what's round 2?
Round 2 is also dark and stormy, with very similar constituent limes and ginger beers, non-alcoholic ginger beer in this instance, but a different dark rum.
Yes.
This time we've moved on to Captain Black dark rum, and we're going to see if...
Captain Morgan, to be specific.
Yes. Captain Morgan Black, to see if it, in a mixed drink setting, if it has a different impact and different flavor profile. Oh. Head shake? Let me see
All
here.
right, you taste yours. Don't want to influence you. I feel like there's something more to this one.
I would have to agree. I was skeptical. I actually went into that sip thinking it was going to be lost to the other flavors and the difference between them. But I think, for me, I'm like, there's a more rounded molasses type flavor present in it, and it's pretty nice. I think in general, Captain Morgan's Captain Black is a bit sweeter. I think it's on the sweeter side.
It could be. We didn't AB them raw,
right.
So I'm not sure. But there was. Let me just say, there was nothing wrong with round 1 with the Kraken.
No, quite nice.
Nothing wrong with that at all. But when you step up to Captain Morgan Black, I feel like it does give it a little something extra. There is definitely a nice, another dimension to it, I would say.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that I prefer the Captain Black version.
Me too. That's damn good.
Now, please, I overreacted. You were about to spin the wheel, and I freaked out on you. I apologize.
No problem. Here we go. Oh, I got no sound. God damn it. Okay, so I came up with a topic you mentioned to me.
Mm-hmm.
We just had Next Human event every year in July for the last 3, 4, 5-ish years.
Yeah.
4-ish years.
Maybe 5 now.
Maybe
I don't know
5.
if it happened the very first Ex-Human run, but yeah, it's a long-standing tradition. We'll leave it at that.
We, in July, the event in July, typically is called Midsummer's Nightmare, and we have an art market out back called the Troll Market.
Yeah.
And you wanted to mention some of the artists that contributed this year, because they really had some fantastic work.
Yeah, I loved it. And, like, I was really quite pleased with what was shown. And I know you actually had purchased
I did.
A couple pieces.
Yeah, I did. I meant to bring them down here. I haven't. There's no room for me to put more artwork. Well, there is. That's kind of a lie, but everything is chalkboard and there's acoustic panels on the walls, so the space for artwork is limited. But I bought a couple pieces. They were really good. One of them is Spectra's, who's a friend of ours. Spectra Art on Instagram and Facebook, I think. Does some good stuff. And the other one, I didn't get the artist's name, but I bet you know who it is. So.
I do.
Okay.
She goes by Fire Thumb.
Okay.
And it is Alyssa Hensley. Now, that's interesting because I actually think she's related to resident photographer Zachary Hensley. I think that they may be siblings, maybe cousins, something. But I do have the feeling that there is a relation there. Not by appearance, but just by, I know Zach has given the camera to Alyssa to take pictures of him. So I feel like it would be like if there was another Sferatu at the event and I gave them the camera, it wouldn't be crazy for someone to be like, maybe it's related to Mekno. Maybe it's the other Sferatu. Maybe.
And there are other Sferatus.
Well, we're not. They prefer to remain hidden at the moment, in the shadows. You know, pulling
That's how
strings.
It is. Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought Fire Thumb, Alyssa had like really cool work, really neat stuff. I want to get more. I think that I will be able to give you some links to their website /Instagram /Etsy stuff. So if you the listener is interested, definitely check these out. They're worthwhile. Yeah,
we'll have the notes on our hosting home, which is Podbean, and we also do have a Facebook page. You can search for 2 Cups of Blood. That's the number 2. Or I believe the official address is facebook.com/2 cups of the red stuff.
Right, because they are really particular about, like, whoa, you guys said blood, that's too edgy, not having it.
Whatever. Wow.
Yeah, it hey, everybody freaks out. But there was also... Nothing Works was back. I think Nothing Works is... Oh, it's tough. I think Nothing Works and Spectra are the 2 that have been at every single of the art markets.
They've been at quite a few. I can't keep track the way you can, but they've been there.
I think everyone has had them, and, others come and go. But then there was Nothing Works, there was...
Well, let's talk about Nothing Works.
Oh, yeah, please.
Nothing Works is... a good friend of mine, and you, I assume.
It's a bro.
Yeah, Jay's work, I think, is really good. He's been growing tremendously over the last couple years. He does a lot of leather work. He does jewelry. I know he just recently got a new, like, industrial fucking sewing machine, so he can do some serious bags and, like, backpacks and some bigger stuff that's really going to hold up. He'll do custom work. He'll do anything you want. Does some great masks.
Very, very talented.
Lots of stuff.
Now, I hesitate to say that he's I think, a sculptor a sculptor by nature.
I don't know if he has a sculpting background.
Yeah, well, I know for sure. Like, I took some of the classes that he took. I don't think I ever took them with him. But, you know, I remember, like, he's been in... He knows the professors from the sculpture department that I know. And
I know what you're talking about now. Yes.
He's done a bunch of metal sculptures, so I think he's a sculptor by nature. And his like media for expression these days is a lot of leather work, but he does a lot of stuff. So I wouldn't put anything past him for what he would make. And I think, you know, what's really cool is that both he and Spectra are both, like, that's their gig. They're full-time artists, and I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because he's really bad at the economic aspect. He, like, habitually will lowball. Like, he'll spend so much time making a piece, and he'll be like, I don't know, $13?
Yeah,
come on, dude.
He's growing into that aspect of it.
He's getting better with understanding what the market has, you know, and what he should be charging for stuff.
Oh, for his work, I mean, you can get some real bargains, I think, right now. And to be clear, you know, he does work mostly with leather, but he'll work with vegan materials as well, and he'll do, if you want, like, a vegan, you know, purse, or, you know, a piece of jewelry, a bracer, piece of armor, whatever. Like, he'll do it up for you.
Yeah, he does metal etching as well. So, like, that's one of the things he has in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, he'll do custom flasks and things like that.
I have one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Nice.
So who else was there? You know, there was, it's, now my hesitance is not that I can't recall who was there. It's what they go by for their shop name. So, Duchess Jelliquin?
Jelliquin, yeah, I think. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. But yeah, the Duchess was there for sure.
Okay, Duchess Divine Gifts is what they go by. And she does, like, fucking amazing shit with different scale mail and chain mail and really nice artistry.
Yeah, spends a lot of time on it. I think we'll also take custom work. I could, maybe not, but I get that impression anyway.
Techi has some of her, like, pieces, right?
Yes, I believe so. Yep, and just really cool stuff. I think the face masks were Duchess's work.
Yeah.
The TKO, you know.
The
Scamel face masks. It's pretty cool stuff.
It's creepy. It's great.
Yeah.
You know, ladies still scare me. I think it's appropriate.
That is appropriate.
Yeah. And then Alduvan Bonecraft and Lennon... Oh, geez. How do you say this? It's very Irish. Lennon Side?
I do not...
Lanenside's Lair.
I don't think you say it that way, but I couldn't tell you how.
Yeah, anyhow, there was like...
Gaelish is a very weird language.
Yeah, there was
Gaelic,
just...
Gaelish.
Gaelish, you know,
I'm
it's
fucking
Gaelish.
Drunk, obviously.
Yes, this is what we're here for.
Damn.
Clink this shit, bro. There we go. Yeah.
That was a...
We almost
Let's try that again.
Whoa, that was bad. You almost broke the shit.
These cups are terrible.
What, you want them to
break?
break?
Get better sounding cups.
Oh, you want a tink?
That's terrible.
Oh,
yeah,
that was good. It was a good clack.
Bad tone. My audio engineer is very disappointed in that.
Well, I'm personally glad that my drink didn't go all over the place from a cracked glass.
So, they're not. Come on. They can take it. I know these glasses. I've broken them myself.
Okay, hold on a second. Is that a better tink?
Not really.
Not really? Okay, still kind of lackluster. Anyhow.
We'll work on that.
Yeah, I promise I'm going to work on my tink for next time. It's going to be good. So we hit, going like mentally around the room. We had the Bone Crafter and Sculpted Charms from I almost said Alduven. Alduven?
Again, we'll have the notes on Facebook and our official home.
And then there was Fire Thumb, and then there was Spectra, and then there was Nothing Works, and then there was the Duchess.
Yep.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that
was there one more? I can't remember.
No, there wasn't, because the Charms and the, I don't know, Deathcraft? I don't know what to call, like, the skulls and, like, that found, and, like,
almost, it is not really taxidermy, but
it is humanely harvested. It's not, they didn't go out killing. There was no, like, not that it's such a gray, it's a nuanced topic. I'm not going to condemn hunting, but I will say that if you have hesitancy about skulls, they do a lot of forests foraging. So they find these pieces, and, you know, it's not like, I need a raccoon skull, who's the next victim? It doesn't work like that.
Good to know. Yeah. Good to know.
So, there's typically 6 vendors, and they were together, but also counting as 2. So that'll do it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Unless... No, that's it. I can remember the room pretty well, so...
Yeah.
I almost got in trouble because medical history, I'm going to breach my own HIPAA. I had sort of a problem with my shoulder. HIPAA? You're right. HIPAA is small particulate. Yeah, my own HIPAA violation, which is I messed my shoulder up a little bit doing some yoga, and I was curious if I could still do it, but it turns out I can still scale a chain, like a fence, like a teenager. I still got it, because the governor of the troll market, James Fukulo, he like almost sprang into like, you need to get the fuck down mode when I was scaling the fence, because I had to adjust one of the outdoor lights, and he almost went into, and then okay, it's Mechno, never mind. Yeah, he's got this, or he'll get hurt. Either way, it's not my problem.
You've got those monkey climbing skills that, I mean, I think of our circle, you are the
most monkey,
the most proficient at that kind of shit.
I do monkey around, which actually, this is totally not in my notes, but I'm pumped about it. This is drunk level enthusiasm.
Yes.
Albany Ninja Lab.
Oh, I heard about that.
They have like an obstacle gym now in Albany, right? Kind of it's in the Crossgates extension, like kind of behind Home Depot, kind of.
Okay.
Across from PetSmart. But it's not super cheap, but like $25, I think, gets you 2 hours at the open gym session.
It sounds good.
And they have like these swinging bars that you can do, and they have like a pretty good replica of a lot of the like stuff that is at Ninja Warrior. So you can just like fuck around and do all this shit for like dude, playgrounds are the best.
Nice.
Like when you progress from middle school to high school and they're like, nah, they don't need playgrounds anymore. That's fucking depressing, because that shit's fun.
Yeah. True.
Anyhow, so yeah, you and me, let's do it.
That's cool. I'll try.
All right.
I'll injure myself terribly.
Yes. Nice. That's what I'm talking about. My shoulder's all fucked up. I'll probably go to the hospital. Let's do it.
This brings to mind, I don't even think that I put this on the topic wheel, because I'm such a fucking... I think I spaced on this. I think I did.
This is cool. This is natural flow. I love it.
Okay, so 2 things. Albany Ninja... What's it called?
Ninja Lab.
Ninja Lab makes me think of the Albany... No, it's not called Albany. It's just called the Riot Room. Have you been to the Riot Room?
I haven't, but I don't know. Would I enjoy breaking shit?
I don't know. I don't feel like I have that kind of rage in me. My wife, DJ Techi, loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Really?
They will play... Unfortunately, I might have talked about this. I feel like I did. Unfortunately, they use Pandora or some bullshit unpaid service to play your favorite music, so you might hear some commercials. But you get your favorite jams going. You can get, Land of Rape and Honey playing.
Okay.
and you can pick up a crowbar or a weird fireman axie tool or just a straight pipe and just smash shit.
Can you bring your own implements?
You can't bring your own smashers, but I think you can bring your own shit to smash.
Because I have, like a wrecking bar.
Oh, damn.
I have my own, it's called the Annihilator, and it's pretty fucking awesome.
Well, I remember hearing
and
about
I really
that.
want to bring my Annihilator. That's my baby. I want to bring it.
It's like an apocalypse tool, right?
Yeah, maybe they'd let me.
You can bring it. You can ask.
So where is this place?
It's mobile.
Okay, interesting.
So it's kind of I don't know the right word, like a trailer or it's something they can drive around.
Yeah, I guess a trailer or I would think.
Yeah, like a covered trailer, like a full, thing. And the inside is like industrial diamond pattern, like rubber mats on the floors and walls.
Okay.
And they have a table, like a really heavy, round, like crazy cable spool, like crazy table.
Really super sturdy. You're not going to mess it up if you wail on it.
Right, and it's covered with more rubber diamond pattern stuff. And you put your items there, and you have your smashers laying around, and you pick up your implement of choice. There's a boombox in the back. I should say, prior to getting into the trailer, you put on a full jumpsuit.
Okay, safety first.
Yeah, they give you like a full face mask, like a paintball mask, or something with, goggles, and your whole head is covered, which is great. Mm-hmm. And they give you gloves, like, kind of SWAT team, knuckle-protected gloves. And then you sign a waiver, and you pay your very reasonable fee.
Okay.
And you can choose different packages, like, you can get like 25 items in a crate, like little items like glasses and plates and, VHS tapes and, bullshit, right?
Okay.
To bring in with you, and that's what you're going to smash. You can pay a little extra to get that whole crate of like 20, 25 items, plus a bigger thing like a computer monitor or a VCR.
Oh, okay.
Or some sort of electronic larger thing.
Nice.
That you can beat up.
Toaster oven?
Possibly.
Okay.
And you can bring your own things to smash. And that's what that's about. Like, if you want to bring your old toaster oven and just beat the crap out, or your printer that always jams, or
you're
whatever.
Bringing your ex-boyfriend's shit there.
You could, yeah.
For real.
You could, sure.
All right.
And you bring it in the room, and they put on your music of your choice, and they turn up really loud, and they leave, and they shut the door.
Just let you work through it.
And it's just you in there, and you smash your crap. And they don't... Maybe after a half hour they would come a knocking, but they give you time to do
in there?
To work it out and do what you need to do. So it's, if you need that kind of release and you want to break some stuff that doesn't cost you money.
See, I worry that I would try to I'd be like, oh, these little teacups are pretty cool. I'm going to try to smuggle some out in my jumpsuit and just end up stealing shit instead of smashing it.
You paid for it, so I don't know if they would mind.
Yeah, that's cool.
You could ask if you find a precious antique, if you can just take it home.
Like, if there's a really good teacup, do I have to smash it, or can I bring it out with me?
I don't think they'd care. I think they're really cool about that.
That's pretty good. How do you find them?
They have a Facebook presence that tells you where they're going to be.
Okay.
And I think that's the main way. I think they also have an official website. I don't know it. Apologies, but I'll put it in the notes.
Okay.
And they were at the mall in Schenectady with the aquarium, whose name I forget, and they were up on Central Ave in Albany, next to the old Blockbuster video location.
Okay, yeah.
Which is now, again, nothing.
I thought it's like a hip-hop sneaker store or something, right?
Not anymore.
Oh, really? Nothing, huh?
There's nothing in there right now.
Oh, good moves.
So they move around. I think they're going to be at some of the fairs this summer. They're going to be at like Altamont Fair and some different county fairs. So.
Nice. I mean, my destruction is so targeted.
Yeah.
Like, it's like specifically like if I wanted to destroy like public property, I don't necessarily want to destroy teacups. It's like park benches. Yeah, I could see the appeal to destroying them, but teacups and toaster ovens. I'm not sure, but maybe I just really need to try it. And
It's just a way to get that out.
yeah.
And speaking of trying new experiences,
Yes, I was hoping it was going to go this way.
yes,
I fucking finally did it, bro.
yeah,
I did it. I did the float.
okay,
So, okay. I can recommend this to just about anybody. My take on it is, even if you are bored for an hour, you are doing an Epsom salt soak, which makes your joints feel like, I don't know if great is not the right term, but definitely relaxed. And if you have any joint pain, like if your feet hurt or whatever, it's essentially doing a full body foot soak, and you feel pretty good when you come out of it. I know that I am weird because the comfortable postures for me are not normal. I ended up with this thing with my arms behind my back with the tips of my fingers touching the floor. And that was stopping my motion in the tank, so I would never touch any sides. Which, I found that I was hallucinating touching the sides more than I was actually touching them. I'd be like, oh, I'm pretty sure my foot is touching the side.
you
And
get
I would
worried about it, yeah.
Then I would wiggle my foot, and I was like, oh, it's not touching shit. Okay. It is quiet. It is so quiet that on some level, so I guess ranking the noise, you hear your own breathing, which sounds like waves crashing on a beach. They're really loud. My own it's maybe I'm asthmatic. But yeah, I felt like my breath was really fucking loud. So much to the point where I was like, I need to breathe less. I need to hold my breath some or schedule this shit because it was loud. And then you actually can hear your own heartbeat, but that's very dependent on the posture you're in, whether or not it resonates through your body. And then if you're super, super neurotic and cannot ignore music, you will hear music infiltrating in from far distant. But keep in mind, it is less loud than your heartbeat. So I'm really and I thought I was fucking deaf. I thought I couldn't hear shit. But in that tank, I was like, I can hear a lot of shit. I hear the smoothie place cranking out tunes.
Yeah.
They need to fucking knock it off. But no, it's cool. It was really good. I recommend it.
So were you, just for my own curiosity, the place we're talking about, the location is in Stuyvesant Plaza, and it's called Requiescent Float Lab, I think, or Requiescent
Float Center?
Center.
Yes.
I think that's right.
Yep.
Were you in the left-hand tank or the right-hand tank?
I was left-hand. I don't know
Okay.
what that is. Is that the big one or the little one?
I think they're the same.
Okay.
I've been twice on the right. I haven't been on the left.
It's big. It's really not. If what is stopping a listener from going to a sensory isolation tank, and it's not a deprivation tank, because you can, if you don't want to be deprived, you don't have to. You can hum or whatever, but
You can keep the light on if you're
keep the
freaking
light
out
on.
or
Yeah,
anything.
exactly. It's really the risk of panic is really low, which I was disappointed with. I thought I might freak out, but it was hard to freak out. But it's big. It's like a private bathroom with adjoining isolation tank. And it's like a whole room. It's big enough you could stand in it and float around a bit. So I don't know. It was dope, and I thank you 1,000% for getting me. Velocet was incredibly generous and got me a gift session, and it was super good. I keep trying to talk Chimera into going, and she's like, I would, but I have a thing to do today. So she's gonna love it when she goes.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, now that you've been and you can give her more information, that might help.
Yeah, you don't. So if you were gonna do crystal meth, you would want to set aside huge amounts of time for doing it, and then a lot of recovery. But this is not really like that. The only scheduling you
Wait.
What?
So you're saying floating in a sensory deprivation tank is not like taking a lot of crystal meth?
Not exactly, no. Well, not planning-wise, anyhow.
Oh, just the planning aspect.
So for scheduling, you don't really need, like, you only need the time you'll be in the tank. You don't have to go in with, like, super pure mental state or anything. It's like, I don't know, if you can handle, like, a moment sitting in a car doing nothing, then you can handle a moment sitting in this incredibly comfortable tank, floating, doing nothing. And I think you pass from... What was your experience? Did you find that you started with an initial experience of, like, sort of periodic peaks of boredom where you're like, I don't know how long I'm going to be in here. Is this really fucking long? Am I in here for, like, the rest of my goddamn life? It feels like this is forever.
You do lose your sense of time a little bit. I had two kind of funky experiences. So the first time I went, I think I talked about it a little bit in past episodes. It was hard to get into it a little bit. I kept bouncing off the sides of things, and I found a comfortable posture. And I got those brief moments of feeling like you're just floating in space, which is really the goal, I think, is to really feel like there's nothing around you, you've got no sensory input, and your mind's just your mind, which is, it never gets the chance to be.
It is so dark, you can't tell if your eyes are open or shut.
Right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so if you're more comfortable with your eyes open, that's fine. It sucks to get salt water in your eye, though, so watch out for that.
That didn't happen to me.
Don't be scratching your forehead and shit, because you'll get water in your eye. It's no good. No good.
No bueno.
You know, I was feeling the places in my body I couldn't fully relax, which was a little distracting. But overall, the first experience was pretty good, and I knew I needed to do it again to try to get more out of it.
Now, I just want to touch on the one thing I was worried was that I'd mentioned that my shoulder has some issues, and I was a little worried that I was going to fixate on it. But going into the Epsom salt soak was actually really good and loosening for my shoulder, so like it really didn't become an issue. I mean, not for me anyhow.
That's
so
cool.
Go on.
No, that's great. So the second time, I had the day off, and I was gonna do it on a weekday at a certain time. I had scheduled this in advance, and it totally slipped my mind. So I was doing something else. My phone had a reminder that I didn't hear, didn't feel the alert. I was scraping paint. I'm doing some shit on my house. I was working, breaking for lunch, and I'm like, oh shit, I missed my appointment. And that threw my whole plan for the day into disarray. Oh. So I finished eating. I'm like, shit, maybe I can just go today because I have today open. I'll see if they have appointments. They had appointments. I made an appointment like right after lunch. So I finished eating, got my shit together, and I went out there, and I'm like, all right, gotta float. And I was just not in a relaxed mode. I was in oh fuck, I gotta do this. I forgot about this. Oh shit, I got other things on my mind. I have to do this, X, Y, and Z later. It was not great.
Oh really? It colored it?
It was my fault. I just wasn't. I should have just done it a different day. I couldn't relax. My body was okay, but my mind was just like thinking about all the other shit I have to do, and I wasn't in the right state. So I think there is a state you have to be a little bit ready for that experience.
You know, at first I was going to say that it was different for me, but at the same time, I would say that if you go in stressed out, that stress may be like a cloud over your experience, whereas if you go in sort of like interested but relaxed, you can go interesting places. I ended up inventing a ton of shit while I was in there. It was amazing.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I can't disclose, but it was dope.
Like overall, I would still encourage people to try it. It's a reasonable price for a very different experience, and
I think you get a lot out of it.
You can. There's definitely the potential there.
So I'm not judging our wonderful audience, but if you show up drunk or obviously on some sort of substance, their website cautions that you will be turned away.
Yeah, and that's fair enough.
So, like, I was thinking, like, so if I just, like, is there any way I could work Whippets into this? And the answer is no. Like, you can't really do that. Like, there's going to be... I guess maybe I could have brought my bag in and done Whippets once they closed the door, but whatever. Just, that's not what you're there for. Just do the goddamn float.
Good piece of advice. And on that note, I think we're spinning the wheel again.
All right, spin it. Do it.
All right.
It's the third rail, the Whippets.
Okay, so I landed on something I put in here myself. What is industrial? Especially these days.
That is so tricky because I definitely have a very wide realm of acceptance as far as what I consider industrial. It's super tough when you look at, how does techno and industrial differ? And I think that because techno sort of grew out of industrial, it's sort of super gray.
Did techno grow out of industrial, or I thought it grew more out of disco and that whole thing?
I would argue that techno has a closer route to EBM, like early EBM, like Front 242, than it does to disco.
Okay.
Like that's just like the pattern tropes. I don't know. So there's a trick with techno. This is something a very good DJ told me, and he was like, "I'm not shitting on techno. The song has there's a lot of commonality between them as far as like how many measures are spent on the build, how many measures are like it's got a similar structure, and that similarity in structure between different songs enables you to do like interesting mixing between them, because if two songs are started at the same time, they will reach a change point at the same time as well, and you can move back and forth between them. So I think that is more similar to the industrial route than it is to the disco route. That's my personal take on it. But what do you think industrial is?
I am not a big industrial person, especially with today's industrial. Like, I can talk about, like, 90s industrial a little bit. But as far as industrial today, like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of things that get lumped together that are somewhat disparate, and I'm confused with, like, the metal, like, industrial metal versus the really hard, like, techno electronic style industrial. And there's like just harsh noise stuff that might not necessarily have a driving club beat that's also industrial. Like, it's very it
is kind of an open genre.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you say, because I think I like old school industrial that's actually like historically old. But I don't like new industrial that is old school. Like
retro?
Well, like, I'll just say it. I'm going to come out and say it.
3 Teeth?
I don't like 3 Teeth. 3 Teeth fucking suck. It's like this Skinny Puppy / 242 rehash, and I just don't get it. It's not my jam. And I don't understand why people like it. Just, if you want to hear that shit, play an old 242 track, or play a Skinny Puppy track.
Yeah, but people don't want to listen to shit that's 20 or 30 years old. They want to hear that new shit.
Then avoid 3 Teeth, because it's the same old shit. Look, 3 Teeth is probably listening to this right now and be like, fuck that Mechno dude. Why is he being such a dick to us? We never did anything to him. But
it's a subjective, it's a thing.
I guess. It's a thing. It's a thing.
We're not judging you as a person. We're just judging your art, which is kind of a douchey thing to do, but everybody does it.
I guess as someone who, I can't say I'm an artist because it's not I don't make a living doing it.
You
but
make props.
yes, as a artistic prop maker, I feel qualified to judge others. No, as somebody who has artistic insight, I would say there's valid critique, but I would never I'm not saying the people of Three Teeth are douchebags or anything. I'm just saying that I don't really get where they're coming from, and it's one of those things where if I was having a discussion with them and I was hard on them, it's something that I would hope they would say, okay, yeah, maybe we should be not rehashing the tropes of early 80s and 90s industrial and should be doing something new. That's a valid criticism and would take their art in a sort of expanded direction, which is, whenever I've had an art critique, it's best when people are not trying to attack me, but really are just talking about the product. And I go in with an open mind because the whole goal is to grow from that critique. That said, Three Teeth is trash.
Well, it's funny because
no, they're fine. I was just doing that. I can't even say that and let it go.
Dude,
that's just not my jam. Go on.
I feel you. So I didn't like Three Teeth's first stuff. I haven't listened to any. If they've had a second release, I haven't heard it. But I do kind of like Youth Code. I don't like everything Youth Code has done, but I kind of dig some of that. And you just rolled your eyes.
Yeah, I did. I totally did. It's a Skinny Puppy rehash with this saccharine LA flavor. And I really don't buy the LA vibe at all. It's so pretentious and so arrogant, they reinvented everything when they're just rehashing shit. Come on, dudes.
Well,
again, Youth Code's going to listen to this. Necno is fucking an asshole.
Youth Code is never going to hear this.
You never know. I met Youth Code.
You did?
Yeah. They
Where?
were, I think, in Boston.
Oh.
They were, I don't know, disinterested.
That's fine.
They were, I don't know, not very friendly. Not, just, on a different strata where they couldn't even really communicate with fans because they're that fucking awesome.
Hey,
I'm just saying it like it was. I mean...
As a performer...
They got along great with a fan who was, fawning over and acting like their shit was a bouquet of roses. But... whatever, dude. It's very nostalgic. I'll say that. Let me be fair. It's extremely nostalgic. And I don't know. I'm always looking forward, not usually looking back. But I do like echoes of things. I do like seeing the references. Oh, okay. This person was really into Throbbing Gristle, and I can tell that because of the way that they're doing this thing. Not necessarily that they're emulating Throbbing Gristle's style, which again, coming back to your point, is Throbbing Gristle industrial? Because they're kind of very different from...
Well, the genre has gone different ways, but they are some of the progenitors, right? You can't separate them from...
But even at the time, I mean, you had... I think the divergence in industrial has always been there. Because you have Throbbing Grizzle, and you have Skinny Puppy, and you have 242, and, they're all different. They're all different sounds. You have Ministry, and Ministry is I think Ministry cracked the door on metal industrial.
Yeah,
because
I think that's kind of where that stuff started, maybe?
Yeah, I think, I wouldn't call them metal industrial, but it made people not afraid to have guitars in their industrial.
Right.
And then, KMFDM is we can use fake guitars. How's that? And that's cool, too.
They have some real guitar.
Well, that's sometimes, but they also have some real fake guitar.
Well, whatever.
Right? Am I wrong about that? That's not judgment.
No comment.
That's not judgment. I mean, when you have a synth guitar, it's cool. It's almost like sampling. It's just we want the feel that is associated with this sound, even if we don't care about where it's coming from, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Look, Youth Code, I was really hard on you a moment ago, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I've been drinking. I have some anger issues. I'm sorry, all right?
You gotta stop apologizing, man.
All right.
Your opinions are your opinions. You're never going to apologize to Voltaire, right?
No, that guy's a douche.
You're never going to apologize to Avengers 2, right?
Never. Age of Ultron was garbage, man. So, okay, you've hit the two things I will never apologize to. So that's great. I feel, okay, all right. No apologies, except the Three Teeth and Youth Code. They're just making art. Here I am being an asshole, but whatever, it's cool.
It's funny how everything, like, you can judge. There's so many levels of listening to music and deciding what you like and having opinions on it. Like, the work as a whole, how it fits into a genre, it's all very subjective. But even the sounds itself, when you're producing music, when you're recording music, when you're mixing music, every element of that, trying to get the guitars to sound good, trying to get the drums to sound good, all that shit is subjective too. What sounds good to you might not sound good to someone else. There's different flavors of everything. And it's just funny how much human taste, like, all of it is art. There's a little bit of audio engineering that's scientific as far as microphone placement and how microphones work, but again, all of it is subjective. You know, it's so interesting.
You raise a point, because I was going to say, yes, and I did put my lime in my mouth. Sorry about that.
Whatever.
So I was going to say, you have, like, technical elements of, like, when you push an instrument too far and you get clipping, but at the same time, sometimes people very intentionally, like, I want that clipping. I want that feeling that something is running at 110% and it's not running right, but it's fucking flat out and it's going for it.
And there's different kinds of clipping.
That's right.
So symmetrical, asymmetrical, if you do it with LEDs, if you do it with tubes, like, there's all kinds of flavors of clip that you can choose between. And there's so many shades to everything you do creatively that contributes to the whole. It's just, there's so much that goes into the music that you could be dismissing as, well, it's just not my thing, or that's really garbage. Many people worked really hard on that, and they think it's at least worthy of putting out there. They might not love it, they might not be happy with the end result 100%, but it's so interesting how much effort goes in and how easily we can dismiss some of these things.
Well, hopefully...
But that's just human nature. So I don't blame anyone for that. It's just how it goes.
Now, what I will say is that I appreciate, as musicians, I appreciate Three Teeth and Use Code. Because there is some stuff that is just amateur. And you hear stuff, and even if the stuff, like, okay, I won't apologize for this one. There was, like, Bon Jovi came out, like, way back when he did. And then he took a break and didn't do any, like, nothing came out. And then his new shit came out. And I was like, his new shit's gonna tank. This is, like, laughably horrible. And people loved it. And I was like, well, it is horrible. I'm not gonna change my opinion. It's really incredibly contrived, and it's not clever, and it's not nuanced. It's just straight horrible. And I would not say that about the industrial acts that I'm not fond of, but can appreciate. So, they're not Bon Jovi.
That's a good thing. Yes.
Well, that's a detente we have, me and Youth Code. You're not Bon Jovi, all right? We'll just leave it at that.
All right, I think we're good on that. Let's give this shit another spin. Oh, shit.
What is this one?
Well, I want to cheat, but I won't. I'll stay. I'll keep my wheel fidelity.
Okay.
I landed on books. I don't know if I have anything to contribute this month on books, really, other than comics, which I can talk a little bit about.
Okay, do you want me to jump in on books? And because I'm constantly... Now, I will say, I'm a bullshit reader, because I do audiobooks.
Right.
I have about a half-hour commute, and having the half-hour to and the half-hour from work is really well spent with books. I really enjoy that. Even though, you could argue that having like a break after a half hour of story development is putting the author at odds, but whatever. There are certain authors that I've really come to look forward to their new releases. One of them is Peter Klein's. He has done a few books, The Fold, and oh boy, there's part of a trilogy, and I just read the third book in the trilogy. It's The Fold, 14, and Dead Moon. They're in a sort of Lovecraftian horror-esque universe, but there is no other connection between them. So the most recent one, Dead Moon, is this premise of the moon is mostly used as a cemetery for people because the Earth is better. They really can't spare the space. They just go ahead and use the space elevator to bring people up to the moon. People take, trips to the moon to visit, memorials and whatnot, but that's what the moon is used for. Ignoring the plausibility of that premise, something crashes on the moon that reanimates the dead, and so it's a zombie plot unfolding on the moon. Sophisticated? Maybe could be more so, but fun as hell. It was a fun book to read. So, yeah, I think more sort of inspiring are his other works, but still the Threshold series, which is The Fold, 14, and Dead Moon, pretty good.
I would say that's a particularly terrifying concept, seeing as if you inter a body on the moon, it's not going to break down, right? There's no bacteria, yes. There's no anything.
That was one of the elements, is that they kind of came out of the ground like they went in.
Yeah.
Scientifically, there were a couple, I don't know why I would scientifically critique a zombie story. It doesn't make sense to me, but they talked about how fast you freeze, and I think really pressure is more of an issue in space rather than freezing, because you only lose heat as far as your infrared radiation. That's the only way you can bleed off heat. So, you're otherwise fairly well insulated. So anyhow, that's my drunk opinion on the science of zombies on the moon. But,
I feel like there are other people out there that could dedicate a whole podcast to that topic, but we're not those people.
Yeah. We'll just rein it in a little bit. It was a pretty good book, and I went through, so I have my favorite authors like Peter Klein's, and I definitely like whatever Ruth Anna M. Rees is going to put out. She's only had 2 so far, but different stuff I listen to. But generally speaking, did I touch on the fact that I kind of gravitate towards female science fiction authors? I might have.
I think you mentioned that 1 or 2 episodes ago, yeah.
So, having recently read some Native American science fiction and, some just female in general science fiction, it's nice to have new perspectives into, or just even, I guess new perspectives or new points of narration for these things unfolding is pretty interesting.
Cool.
What's new in the comic world?
Not terribly new, but I've really enjoyed DC's Injustice: Gods Among Us comics. I got into the game first, and I don't really remember the story mode in the first game, but the story mode in Injustice 2 especially, I thought was really well done. Maybe the best story mode in any fighting game. And let's be honest, fighting games tend to have really crap story modes. But I thought this one was actually really, really fun. And there's a comic series that goes along with the games. So the first Injustice series was split up over 5 years, and I really felt like the end of it kind of petered out and wasn't as good. But then they started with Injustice 2, and I just was reading Injustice 2 Year 1, just finished it, and I've been continuing on with the series. And it's really good. It's really fun. It's very, it's its own continuity, so just forget everything you know about the universe and just go with what they're doing. They're killing off major characters and doing a bunch of crazy shit. It's kind of fun. it's kind of fun to give writers that freedom to do whatever they want.
So what is the general plot line of the Injustice? Like, how are there so many heroes that are sort of dark and willing to fight and kill each other?
Well, so the main premise is the Joker gets bored of fucking with Batman, and he decides it'd be more fun to fuck with Superman. So I don't remember exactly what he does. He ties the detonation of nukes in Metropolis to Lois Lane's heartbeat and infects Superman with a version of a fear toxin that makes him hallucinate. So when he sees Lois, he sees Doomsday, the thing that can kill him. That's a huge threat to the planet. So basically he kills Lois Lane himself.
Oh, jeez.
Super spoiler, Lois is pregnant with their first child.
Oh boy, jeez, this is fucking nuanced.
So the Joker makes Superman kill Lois and his unborn baby, and because he does that, all of Metropolis is nuked. So he kills almost everything except his parents on Earth that he cares about. So that fucks with Superman's head. He kills the Joker. He just starts instituting, okay, I'm fucking things up on this planet. I'm keeping the peace. I'm making wars stop. He becomes a dictator, essentially. Right.
I've always said if I was a hero, I would kill so many people.
So Batman is not down with that.
Mm-hmm.
He can't get along.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a split between the people that think that Superman is doing the right thing and the people that think he isn't. And that's the conflict.
Is this Injustice 1 or 2?
That's
or
the
both?
premise of the first one.
Okay.
And everything evolves from that.
Okay.
So it's pretty interesting. Some more obscure characters come out of the woodwork. Some characters you might not think of as being very useful, or maybe you haven't seen the full extent of their powers used in certain ways before. They come out as being very effective at certain things. Plastic Man, Martian Manhunter, some of the shapeshifters. They really put a spotlight on some of the useful things they can do, and I don't know, it's interesting. They kill off a lot of major characters along the way, and it really kind of guts you if you're like a Green Arrow fan or a Martian Manhunter fan.
Now, depending how you play, does the story unfold differently?
I'm talking about the comics mostly.
Okay.
The game, they keep it sort of open-ended. Nobody really dies in the game.
But in the comic, yeah.
Oh, they're killing off people all over the place. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And there's a lot of course, Batman and Superman are the big figures, so a lot of the Bat family comes into play. A lot of the different Robins have some different things going on, which is interesting to see how that plays out. So, a lot of shit happens.
Oh, it sounds like if you're into comics or I almost gonna say eventual graphic novel compilations of those comics, then yeah, it's worth checking out.
Yeah, and it's fun to not have to know what's going on in the DC universe to appreciate this, because it's all its own little ecosystem.
Now, we skipped the movies on the wheel, but I will say that I was shocked at how good I thought Dark Phoenix was.
Really?
I really had, negative expectations. But it was actually pretty good. They kind of discarded so much of the whole comic story and the whole other X-Men movies that have been established, that when they killed off certain characters, you were they weren't dead in the other movies because they just had said fuck it and we're doing our own thing. It was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so the X-Men are one of those things that I grew up reading, and those characters are close to my heart, and I can't stand what the movies have been doing with these people and how they've been shitting all over these stories. So I felt like the movie was somewhat...
You're cautiously pessimistic?
Oh, I hated it.
Did you see, you saw Dark Phoenix?
Yeah.
Didn't like it?
Yeah, my the missus, DJ Techi, also despised it, perhaps more than I did.
Well, let's flip the script for a second. I hated the new Hellboy. Hated it. It was garbage. To me, it was garbage.
I didn't feel that way.
There was so little world building that Del Toro did. I didn't care. They didn't, like, it just was uninspiring. And then it would break into fucking cock rock music videos with these fighting vignettes for no fucking reason, where they played Kickstart My Heart while Hellboy beat up some people. Like, there's no fucking point to that. This movie was horrible. So, like, yeah. I guess it's like, of all things, it's like a personal thing of, like, what entertains you and what ends up irritating you. And everyone has their different, like, points of interest and irritation.
It's all subjective.
Yeah.
I appreciated Hellboy. I thought it was way better than I thought it was going to be. I thought the makeup and the creature design was pretty on point.
You like that wobbly horn?
The wobbly horn was the worst part.
It's the first 10 minutes, dude.
The bat creature was great. Baba Yaga was great. The demons weren't bad. Like, I thought aesthetically it was actually pretty good. I thought the character was very well written.
You know, it's one of those things where I think if I didn't love the Hellboy universe, I probably would have liked the movie. Because this, I'm going to assassinate myself by saying, like, there were elements of the Tom Cruise movie, The Mummy, that I actually really liked. I'm not going to say it was a good movie because I feel like it was 50% people who were good artists earnestly doing a good job and contributing, like, creative, cool shit, and 50% like garbage, like them, like, firing writers or bullying writers and making things make no sense. So, like, I could see if I were to be able to come into the new Hellboy clean, I probably would have been like, oh, it was fun, it was cool. I mean, I probably could have done without the Motley Crue music video beating, but that's cool.
Yeah, they're just trying to have fun. They're trying to make it fun, I guess. But I felt like the new Hellboy, even though I haven't read a ton of Hellboy, I have read some, I felt like the character was written truer to the book. So he had a different sort of attitude than the Del Toro movies, and I thought that was more authentic.
It's tough. You know. I mean, yes, I kind of agree with that. Did Mike Mignola, is he the...
I think he was the creator, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're right about that, but at the same time, I feel like Del Toro's a better writer than he is.
Possibly.
So, it's tough. It was like a change in dimensionality that I didn't necessarily love. Okay. But whatever, it's because of where I'm coming from. You know, and fucking Ron Perlman. Like, he was in prosthetics to look like Ron Perlman. I couldn't get over that.
I don't know about that.
I mean, the dude, I like that actor.
Yeah.
He was great. You've watched Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Season 3?
No, not yet.
Oh, bro, you're slacking.
My relationship with my wife, like, we have to watch these things together, and she's not ready
yet. That's precious. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
We're a little behind on a lot of things.
You got to make the time for important things, like sitting in front of the television.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. But I was worried from the trailers that the new Hellboy was going to be just a reboot or retelling of the same fucking story of the first movie, of Del Toro's movie, and I just didn't understand why. I was pleasantly surprised that it was a different story. It had a different cosmos kind of thing going on. Even though I love the Lovecraftian elements of Del Toro's films, love them. I thought this one, even though it had a different slant on things, I still had fun. I just was still able to enjoy it. So.
I can certainly give it to you that the fact that Hellboy just walks around and is not really a big thing is both. It can go either way, because in this universe, that shit happens.
Right, it's more true to the book again, I think.
But on the other hand, they didn't they didn't provide a context for that, so I'm like not entirely accepting of it. Like, how is it that like he's sensational enough that people are like Hellboy spotting on Twitter, but also not sensational enough that he just walks down the street or can hang out and get service in a bar, and it's not really a big deal? I guess he's kind of a celebrity. I guess that's the equivalent. That is like, I guess if Iggy Azalea or Shakira went to a bar, they could have drinks.
Yeah, the world
I
gets
don't know
used
if they
to it,
could,
I guess.
if they could get like shit faced and have their face down on the bar, and not have people like, oh my god, oh my Shakira, like like hounding them. But whatever.
I don't know.
In essence, I watched the whole thing. I was entertained, mildly irritated at some points, but whatever. It's a movie. It was good. It was better than not watching the movie. So I'm gonna shut the fuck up about it.
Okay. Well, let me continue shitting over Dark Phoenix for a minute.
Yeah, hit it.
I could not get over how badly they marred the story. They didn't even portray the Phoenix Force correctly. They totally fucked up Jean Grey, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not this super fan, but I did read a good 10 years of X-Men, and Jean Grey does not have daddy issues. And as far as I'm aware, unless that's some kind of retro thing that happened recently in the books that I just haven't caught up with. But, man, my wife was so disappointed they reduced Jean Grey to this chick with daddy issues. She could not get over that. Like, that is the worst writing she could have imagined. So, it's disappointing. It's disappointing that new potential fans can go in wanting to see James McAvoy and everything and just be totally turned off by this bullshit.
Well, that is bad. So that's lazy ass writing. But the other thing of the nuance with Jean Grey's relationship with Xavier was definitely an expanded relationship where there was a thing where he was misguided and was trying to shield her from the trauma of her past, and it ended up creating a sort of a schism in their trust relationship because of it. That was nuanced. So I feel like it's sort of a trade. I definitely see, like, there is a feminist perspective that was missing, that, like, you have to write women like people because some of them are. So, like, that was missing.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. As a purist, as an X-Men source material kind of person,
I get you.
Jean Grey and Xavier never did those things, and it's disheartening to see the characters taken in directions that are different. And I understand this is sort of its own timeline and it's doing its own thing and whatever. It's just not. It's just tough. It's just tough for me. I don't know. Did not like it. Did not like it at all.
Well, okay. What I will say is that even watching a movie you don't like is better than 115 degree heat. So it's a decent escape if you end up going to the cinema.
Yeah, at least it's air conditioned.
Yeah.
It's getting a little stuffy in the studio, but
yeah.
There was one or two other films I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I have three more. Let's just hit them in rapid succession.
Boom, boom, boom. Let's do it.
Talking about remakes for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Pet Sematary.
Mm-hmm.
Finally caught up on it.
And then?
Did you see it?
I did not.
So let me just start this by saying I haven't read the book. I'm not attached to the first film. I've seen segments. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched it all in one sitting. I think I've seen most of the first movie in pieces.
All right.
So not a huge fan, not super knowledgeable. The new movie I thought was actually much better than expected. It was coherent. It was well done. It emphasized different things than the first one. There's a few aspects that are different intentionally to, maybe break some of your expectations. And I thought it was creepy and effective and pretty well done. I enjoyed it.
Okay, I'll accept that. I mean, I think it's kind of a related opinion, which is the reason why I didn't watch it, which is I didn't love the first movie enough to care for them remaking it. I think that neither of them touched on the story that it was based on enough. Like, the whole thing about the soil is sour because of the Wendigo. Like, that's why the soil is like that, but they did neither one, I don't think. I mean, I could be speaking incorrectly. Did they touch on that in the second one?
The new one touches on some of that.
Okay, maybe then I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because I do like... they have to make Stephen King's The Outsider. It's going to be fucking great as a movie. If they make it, it's going to be great. I don't know if it's in development, but it's really good.
Not familiar. What's The Outsider?
It's like, imagine like you got this shit where there's a shape-changing vampire, and it sort of like he becomes someone who's really well respected in the town and does a bunch of child murder and raping. And no, it's good though, but in a good way. Well, it's harsh. It's like something shocking, like the Little League coach who everyone trusts and everyone likes is suddenly his character is ruined because of what the shapeshifter did. Like horrible shit. But then there's like a sort of a detective element where they're trying to track him down and find this thing. And then like just the way they handle it is, it's like a detective novel and a vampire novel, and it's going to be awesome if they make it. So let's hope for The Outsider. But
cool.
Yeah. But I'll check out Pet Sematary. Why not?
Yeah, I think
Does
it's
it
worth
have
it.
the Ramones? Did they use the theme song in any fashion?
Shit. It's not the Ramones. They made the most testicle-free version of the song I've heard yet.
Oh, boy.
For the credits of this movie. So it's not worth singing for the song.
Okay, all right.
They don't use the Ramones. They don't use the pretty good Strangers cover. I think Strangers do that song pretty well.
Okay.
It is some nouveau, something pseudo-electronic-y. I don't even know how to describe it. It's not great, in my opinion. It's very relaxed. It's very...
Well, you know, it sounds like that trope where when you do a movie trailer, you have to just like dub in a like super weird cover of a classic song, and that's it sounds like it was kind of like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
It was
Next.
not especially amazing.
What do you got?
Okay, so last big film I'll talk about. Shazam exceeded my expectations.
No, this can't be the last film you're talking about.
No, there's one more. This is the last big one.
Yeah.
So Shazam was better than what I thought it would be. I was ready to be disappointed by DC once again. But it had its problems, but I thought overall it was more entertaining, and it was less kid-friendly than I thought it would be. Way less kid-friendly. So, I don't know. I thought it was overall pretty good.
Didn't love it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think they needed to bring a religious element to the Shazam family. And like them like gathering around the dinner table and kind of praying together irritated the fuck out of me.
Whatever.
It's just not... It's like just little things bother me, and it wasn't necessary. I mean... Whatever.
You don't think a fucking foster family would do that shit?
Not as a plot device.
You thought it was I didn't think it was a plot device.
Well, not exactly. I don't know. It irritated me a little bit, enough for me to say that I really loved the movie. So, like, it was okay. It was funny at times, and...
Better or worse than Aquaman?
Oh, definitely better. Miles better.
Agreed.
Hundreds of miles better. Aquaman was trash. I don't know what they were thinking of. Why did they do that? It was such garbage. You didn't know what the fuck kind of movie it was going to be. Is it a comedy? Is it action? It was
reminiscent of The Lone Ranger.
Yes, which is, you got to trip some balls in order to enjoy Lone Ranger. That's not easy.
Yeah, I didn't even enjoy it when I was tripping balls.
No, never. Yeah, so, definitely on a scale of Aquaman, 100. Absolute 100. It's Criterion Collection. It's fucking... Orson Welles directed that shit. It was fantastic.
All right, so if you enjoyed Aquaman, definitely see this movie.
Yeah, you're going to be blown away. This is going to rewrite your existence.
So let's move on. So we both saw, for one night only in cinemas a few weeks ago, The Cure's movie, their anniversary 2019 Hyde Park London show. The official title escapes me, but I think it was The Cure anniversary,
Yeah, I came away... The marquee said The Cure. I think it was technically The Cure anniversary.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great. I was surprised by how much Cure I actually knew, and was also surprised by the songs that I didn't know that were big enough that, like, I was like, oh shit, I really should know this, but this is new to me. This is the first time I've ever heard this song, and that was cool.
Nice, yeah. You're speaking as a not intimately, you're not a huge Cure fan.
I'm not an active Cure fan. There's very few. Okay, this is a funny dichotomy with me, because this only came out having seen the film, or concert film. Yeah, I don't think I've ever met a Cure song I didn't like, and Robert Smith is horrible. Like, I don't like that dude. I don't know if he was fucked up during the concert or whatever. His stage presence was weird, and I was like,
he's just wacky.
What's up with that dude? So, like, it was a fun, like, but at the same time, it's such a new, this is what made it great, is it was such a good show. Like, regardless of how I felt about Robert Smith, how he was performing his stuff, I couldn't critique his performance. It was the little flourishes that irritated me about him. Like, he stuffed his fingers in his own mouth while he was singing at one point, and I was like, that's unnecessary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you emote your music. You don't just sing. You don't just do a faithful reproduction. You perform your songs, and they did. And everyone, and this I didn't know, it's a sort of shifting collection of artists. Like, it's obviously not the same cast as it was decades ago.
Yeah.
With the exception of Robert Smith. But every one of the musicians involved in this reproduction was, like, mind-blowingly a great musician. I feel like maybe the keyboardist didn't have to be great, because sometimes it was like a simple little riff. Like, I could probably play some of the Cure songs because they're not always super complicated.
That's true.
I think he was definitely, like, he looked happy to be there.
Yeah.
That's cool. But, like, yeah, everyone else was like a fucking top-notch musician, that was clear.
Yeah, cool.
How did you feel about it? As someone who knows the Cure.
Well, yeah. So from the perspective of The Cure, has been my favorite band since I was 16. It was really good. Like, I was worried because I know Robert Smith can forget lyrics. Sometimes the band can be... Usually the band is great, but sometimes he'll play a wrong note or something will just be a little off. I felt that this was a great performance. I felt his voice was in very good form. And it was filmed well, and I was really happy with it. I was happy to see that this is what they presented, because I thought it was a really good show. And they have such a deep catalog that they can play totally different, 2-3 hour sets depending on what they want to do. So this was a set list based on more popular songs. A lot of the singles were represented. And just, it was a lot of good stuff that people are going to know. So I was happy they put that forward. And then they played a couple more obscure songs at the very, very end that were all from their first album or their very first releases. So it was nice to see them end that way. And overall I thought it was really good. It was fun. It was interesting to see, it's tough to have someone who's not a big fan sit through a 2 hour and 12 minute, however the hell long it was. It was a long movie. To sit through a 2 hour plus set of music they might not be really into, but I'm glad it went over with you.
Well, yeah, I would say that it. So here's the prompt. What would what would stop me from going to a Cure concert is what made this concert movie so good, which is that Cure, the Cure will play to their superfans because they have so many. They can fill an entire stadium with superfans who know that, like, that really rare B-side that was, like, super limited edition, and that, like, 30% of the crowd is going to lose their mind that they're actually playing that in concert. And that's, I don't know that I would have that connection if I went to a Cure concert. But sitting comfortably in a theater with good sound and taking it in, and I'll go one step further, and getting the camera direction and effect direction from a director who has done many of their videos and, like, is himself a super fan, I was able to look at it from their perspective and really take it in as just like it was a really good concert. It didn't feel excessively long. Somehow it seemed like I was watching an entire concert, but I know for sure that there was parts edited out. It was just done really well, so like it fit down into a movie length, and it was just great. I mean, I have a attention span issues, so like even bands that I fucking love, I'm like, I get it, you've been doing this shit for like over an hour, you need to stop. Like it almost, it's like there's a few exceptions, but like Pop Will Eat Itself, I could have watched forever because they were amazing. But like a lot of shit I really loved. I was like, okay, I get it. You don't have to play every song off every album, just stop. But at 2.5 hours, it was such a good blend of super, like, chartbuster hits, as well as, like, quieter fan favorites. Not quieter, but, like, less renowned fan favorites that, like, people really liked, and I could experience that through the lens of the director.
Yeah, it was a good mix, and speaking of the sound and being able to hear it in the theater, I felt that the sound in the film was really well done, and the volume level, at least in the theater we saw it in, was pretty much just right. Like, it was loud enough that you were listening to loud music, but it wasn't too loud to, like, blow you away or fuck you up after a couple hours.
And to be able to post live performance master like that, I was very impressed at how it probably sounded better in the movie than it did if you were in the crowd, because, like, maybe not. Maybe they just have fucking spot-on sound engineers, but it was really good.
Yeah, they certainly have good people working with them, but, I mean, Hyde Park in London, I think I read later on, like, there was something like 65,000 people there. Like, it was...
Yeah, I've been there. It's huge.
Oh,
it's
wow.
big.
I didn't know you'd been there.
Yeah, it's big. There was nothing going on in it at the time, but it's big, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can see in the film, they have the main PA by the stage, and the stage is huge. It has these big extended wings out to either side, and there's more sound reinforcement over there, and then as you look out over the crowd, there's towers, like, out, I don't know how far, but there's towers in the middle of the crowd that are reinforcing for the people behind them. It's like,
yeah,
it just goes and goes and goes. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows what that sounded like live, but it was probably pretty good. But yeah, the film is pretty ideal.
Yeah, I would say it's going to sound like pandering, but if you're a fan, if this makes it out to DVD, it's definitely something to pick up. And if you're a casual fan, it's definitely the way to, well, if your home theater experience is up to snuff, it's the way to experience the concert at your own pace, like, and in your own comfort.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff, I have to say. But
yeah.
I'm a fan, so you can't trust me. But if Paul says
it,
if Mac knows behind it, it's probably true.
You can trust me. You know, it's no youth code, but it was good. Come on.
No Skinny Puppy circa 2015 or whatever the hell.
That was like going to prison.
What year was that?
I don't know. It was a couple years ago.
2013,
but
2014?
Okay, it was the first date on the tour, and everyone fucking played 2-hour sets.
It was rough.
And then I feel like Skinny Puppy played a 6-hour set. And, like, there were technical difficulties, but the show was weird enough that you didn't know if his camera was supposed to be falling off of him or if he was supposed to fit into that suitcase.
I don't think it mattered.
It didn't matter. It's like we were all, like, on the floor like kids who were brought to a department store, just, like, ruined. Everyone was just, like, laying around waiting for it to end. I think Andrew Virus actually enjoyed the whole thing. He was down. I think he was down with the whole thing. He was okay with it, but I know that, like, he was harder core than I was for sure. Like, I just wanted to die.
Well, we can confirm that at the Doomsday Virus show tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah. So we have more topics on the wheel. We're not going to get to them this time.
Yeah, next time.
But we'll come back at you soon. And until then, take it easy, kids.
Yeah, guys. See ya.
Peace.
Diamond and form, casting at the dark. Step into the frame.